time, Will.
Understood.
All right, let's get this started. I'm Scott Bones with Colorado Punk Rock Army. This is my lovely friend Krista here, and these are the amazing dudes in Jerkswitch. Hey guys.
Hey.
Thanks for doing round 2 with us when we couldn't record earlier today due to some technical issues, but we're ready to rock and roll now.
All pleasure, man.
No problem.
So you guys told us that your favorite hockey team, for the most part, for those that watch hockey, is the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh yeah, Montreal Canadiens.
Who's that? Who's the main goalie? Was it last year? He was just killing it. I'm trying to remember who it was. Carey Price. Yeah.
Price. Yeah.
Oof. Man, he's good. We need Price to trade down here.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
He's getting old, though.
We've got the what do they call him? The Hamburger Grubauer. So he's not doing too bad. I mean, I don't know. He's coming back from injury, so we'll see. But anyways, let's. We're actually going to go on my screen. You guys are tiled out. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Jerkswitch. So you guys came out in 2019 with an album called BUFO, if I could say it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm just gonna present something. I want to show the folks at home what we reviewed here real quick. So if you go to ColoradoPunkRockArmy.com or go to Google and type in ColoradoPunkRockArmy.com and then Jerkswitch, you can actually go read the news post about their latest record, about their latest video called About a Punk. And you can check out my review on BUFO. The title from that was Born from the Ashes of Scudfucks. Jerkswitch released his debut album BUFO. And I gave this a 10 out of 10. I actually picked it as my favorite album of 2019.
Thank you so much, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Let me get my stupid computer to stop presenting here. Now, what you guys see what I've been up to on Pornhub lately. It's a little too much midget stuff. Well, William already provided us with that stuff, so I think we're good to go.
No step this.
So how are you guys? So besides BUFO, let's talk about how you're doing right now during the pandemic. How's everybody holding up?
We're doing good, but I mean, the experience itself is pretty shitty.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty boring.
Especially when you do music and you play shows, all of a sudden,
We had a big break.
So. Just stop.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you can't. You got to stay in. And
Yeah. In the short period of time that we were allowed to play shows, we did 2 in a month. One in Montreal, one in a town is called Rimouski. It's like up north in Quebec. So we did 2 in like 2 weeks, and then it shut down again.
When was the last time you guys played a show?
last time we played was
the end of September.
Oh my gosh,
September 26th.
And that was a year ago, September?
No,
Last September.
Oh, okay. Well, and you guys are doing much better up there as far as the numbers compared to the U.S., which is a good sign. But then again, I think that maybe the U.S. needs to look at you guys as an example and go, maybe we should stay the fuck home. So
maybe.
Well,
I mean,
I think there's a lot more.
Not everybody's been staying home too much, and we have, as we mentioned earlier, we have a curfew now here, so we can't go outside after 8 p.m.
After 8 p.m., so it's
it does.
It's a bit boring.
It's pretty weird. It's been like this for a week. It's been a very weird week. We'll finish practice, and we're always checking. We're like, shit, are we gonna have any time to drive home? And we got to plan everything.
You got to plan everything before you get for the curfew. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a new stress that we've never known before.
I know we've only had one for about a week, but that was due to some protests that were going on. So it really wasn't due to the. But Trump is not getting reelected, so I'm gonna put my arms up, and I'm actually gonna.
That's a good thing.
I'm actually going to salute the election with my Rocky Mountain piss water here.
Double thumbs up to that.
Cheers.
But
So
I think
go ahead, Will. Sorry.
I think you guys have a lot more people though. So if you just look at the numbers, Like you look at the percentage or the number, because the numbers, of course, like you guys are going to be pretty much higher because I think there's like 10.
Oh, I think
10 times.
the percentage is higher too, though.
Yeah,
I think so.
but like you guys have to wear a mask or like everywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay, so just like us.
Is it different like from state to state? The like the rules about COVID, or is it like the same rules everywhere?
So
Like,
it's really weird. Like, it really depends on who the governor is.
Okay.
So for Colorado, if we go to the store, if you go wherever, you got to wear a mask. My buddy who lives in Texas, it's really strange. They can go to shows, they can go to restaurants, they can go to bars, but they don't have to wear them inside. They only have to wear them outside when they're like at the gas pumps and stuff like that. It's really different.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Texas currently, that I know, they're an open carry state as far as guns go. So I would be, if I was a cop, I'd be afraid to tell somebody to put their mask on. So
Yeah,
Maybe a bit more.
and I'm not all Texans are like that, but I think one of the problems we have so many issues is because every state is a little different, and they all kind of, some of them are like, oh, you're taking my freedoms away, and the others are just like, fuck it, you know what, we don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah, it's just like that here in Quebec.
So let's go ahead and get started. So you guys put out BUFO a couple years ago now, 2019. It's so weird to think that was 2 years ago already.
I know, time flies, man. It feels like it was like last week.
And as we were talking earlier, for me, I happened to come across that you guys were together again and posting things, and that you had put out a new music video for your track about a punk, which we'll actually show this after the interview here. But I was ecstatic, and I still am, and I still listen to you guys like almost every day.
Thank you so much, man.
That's awesome.
So before we get into BUFO, we're gonna start with EJ because that's how you guys are tiled out. We'll just go left to right.
Okay.
EJ, why don't you tell me about what got you into music? Why do you like playing? Why did you like playing on BUFO or singing? Because are you the lead singer?
Yeah, I'm the lead singer.
Okay.
I also play guitar. Me and Will sort of switch out a lot. Like I'll do some lead stuff, he'll do some lead stuff, I'll do some solo, some rhythm. But yeah, lead singer. Sorry, what was the question?
So yeah, we had talked about earlier about your influences. You talked about Sublime. One band who I was really surprised put out a new record recently was Classics of Love. Jesse Michael's band after he left Op Ivy, and it's only a little 4-track EP, but it's so good.
Oh, I haven't heard it. What's it called?
They're called Classics of Love.
Okay.
I have to look up the EP title, but it's really good.
Okay,
definitely
cool.
like old school, like early '90s California East Bay punk stuff. But
okay, cool.
Sorry, EJ, go ahead with what brought you into.
Hell, I'd say my main influences. I've got to say Nirvana's at the top. I'm a huge Cobain fan. I freaking love Nirvana. Punk wise, I mean, I love Sublime for their ska and sort of psychedelic, trashy elements, and punk rock. A lot of stuff. I had to pass through No Effects, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
A lot of No Effects. I love Rancid. I grew up on freaking Green Day, like Will. First show I ever saw was Green Day. First record I ever bought was Green Day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those are my main influences for the band stuff.
It's weird that an album that's not weird, but I guess you don't see it often where an album like Dookie in general can have such staying power that it does. Even here and 30 some years later.
Yeah.
I mean, that came out in 94, 95, and here we are talking about Dookie in 2021. It's crazy to me.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I got to throw Pears in there too.
Pears are amazing. Oh, I love those guys.
On Fat Records from, I think they're from New Orleans.
Yeah.
My favorite punk rock band. I freaking love Pears. Pears are awesome.
Pairs were amazing. Their last record was so good.
I know. I was stoked when it came out. I was so happy. I'd been waiting for it for like a year. Anyways, love Pairs.
All right, let's move on to Gabe. I know we did this earlier, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. Gabe, tell me about you, man. What brings you into Jerkswitch, and are you staying warm up there in the Great White North?
Sure, man. Well, at least I was I played bass in Jerkswitch, but before that I was a drummer. I played in couples of metal bands in Montreal, and when I came with the guys, I just learned to play the bass by learning the songs of the band, actually.
Wow.
So and then that was 4 years ago. So all the songs from BUFO is we composed it together, but it was my first experience in studio playing bass, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Cool. So what's cool about that is that you picked up the bass basically just from listening, and anytime I pick up an instrument, I sit there and I look at it and go, "Come on, do something." Come on. I'm just not musically talented whatsoever. My family constantly reminds me that I cannot sing for shit. So even though they support me. And Gabe, what would you say your musical influences are?
Like I said, I have more like a metal background. When I was 15 years old, I started playing drums, listening to the old Metallica, Master of Puppets album, and Justice for All, mainly. And then later came out, I discovered Nirvana when I was 24 years old. So I was very old when I came into more grunge and punk. And then I listened to the album Bleach, and it was oh, okay, that's...
Yeah, I think Bleach and Incesticide are pretty much those two records. And I argue with Nirvana fans a lot. They're like, Nevermind's the best. And I'm like, dude, we got to go back a little bit. Exactly. Nevermind's amazing, but that stuff prior, I think my favorite Nirvana song is probably Molly. I think it's called Molly. Yeah,
Molly,
I think that's or Ben a Son. That's just one of my as one of my favorite bass lines in that of all time. I hear that. It's weird because I heard it in a supermarket, and I was like, what
a supermarket?
Yeah, just a grocery store. So
wow.
All right, Will, let's have you up next.
Yeah, well, my name is Will. I play guitar and I sing as well. Well, sometimes, not a lot recently, but sometimes I do back vocals. Nobody's in my family plays. Well, my grandma played guitar, so I come from a non-musician family, but my influences are pretty much like we said. I grew up on a lot of Green Day. Blink 182, and then got into some NoFX, and then lately, I don't know if you know this band, but it's called Drag Church.
I don't know. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no, it's
I think
it's
the name. I can't place anything off top of my head.
Yeah, recently, it's been one of my go-to, in the car and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Jerkswitch.
Awesome.
I'm in the car.
Jerkswitch listened to a lot of Leftover Crack too.
Oh yeah, I love Leftover Crack. I love it.
Yeah. The saxophone part and Fuck God and Fuck Reality kind of reminds me of Leftover Crack.
I think my children are killing each other, but my wife's out there. So and let's see, Will.
Yeah.
What are your influences? What brought you into Jerkswitch?
Well, what brought me into Jerkswitch? I started a band when I was around 15 or 16 with one of our friends. It was called Dominic, and then Dominic knew EJ from school, so just went to EJ's place and starting practicing one of the song I wrote, and then from then EJ has just been in the band since then.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's cool that you guys go back that far as knowing each other, and at least that kind of helps with your chemistry. Because I'm sure you guys have crazy stories about, especially with your background that we had earlier before we started recording.
Yeah, we've got some funny ones on tour too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Chris. Chris, thanks for joining us, by the way, man. And I before you start, real quick, I just want to say, like, one of the reasons that I love Jerkswitch is I do hear a lot of metal in there, and I wanted to also see that with Gabe. I'm a huge fan of Suicidal Tendencies, and I tend to love like 70s and 80s metal. Not a big fan of like doom metal and stuff nowadays, which it's okay. It's just not really for me. My buddy tried to get me into stoner metal, which I was just like lost in. I was like, you'd have some solos that would go for like 25 minutes, and I'm like, are you supposed to be smoking weed the entire time during this solo? Because like I'd be faded by the time that track is over.
Yeah. So. Stoner metal, I've never ever heard what it sounds like.
No way. You've got to have heard stoner metal.
Stoner metal.
You just don't know you've heard it.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, Chris, so you go ahead whenever you're ready, man. Tell us about your influences, what brought you into Jerkswitch, and what do you play?
We can't hear you.
Oh, we
can't see you. We can't hear you.
Your mic was...
Okay. Hello.
There he is.
All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, there was
Welcome back.
Technical problem there. All right. No, I'm Chris. I play the drums. It's been maybe since I'm 12 I play. I started into marching bands when I was like 10. So I learned the snare drums first. And now, like I just had a passion for drums since then. And I play it every day, and it's drums are in my life, and it's my therapy too. So it's just a big part of my life. And Jerkswitch, I joined them maybe like 9 or 8 months ago. So I'm the newest guy of the band. So. But I enjoy it every day. So it's these are amazing guys too. So we have a blast too. So it's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. And what would you say your influences are? I mean, what?
Well, I was more of a metal guy. Like it was more like a Lamb of God, but a big band that I admire like a lot. It's Alex's on fire. Like this band, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
My top one. So it's it's pretty much it.
So I guess let's talk a little bit about BUFO. And one question that I wanted to ask earlier that I didn't get to. So Revolution Part 2, is there a Revolution Part 1?
There is,
yes.
but that's on the Scudfucks record.
Oh, okay. So and in case you guys didn't know, Jerkswitch, some members or just one was formerly part of Scudfucks?
No, me, Will, and Gab are formerly part of the Scudfucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when I posted that that you guys were from the Jerkswitch was from the Scudfucks, like we immediately got like 30 likes on the post, and they're like, "Oh, I love those guys," and I'm like, "Right on! Here's their new stuff. Check it out."
Yeah. The Scudfucks had anyways around here had a lot more recognition than Jerkswitch because we did a whole bunch more shows as the Scudfucks. I mean, we went to we did 2 cross Canada tours as the Scudfucks, and I don't know how many shows in Quebec. So the name Scudfucks had more recognition than Jerkswitch. So I think when we started putting out Jerkswitch stuff and promoting it, some people in the scene probably were like, "Who the hell are those guys?" And then they'd see us like, "The Scudfucks, it's the same guy."
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you guys know Danny from the Real Mackenzies and the Corpse?
Yeah, we went on tour with those guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
We did
Danny's
like
amazing.
we
Yeah.
joined together to go on tour in BC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, we did Alberta and British Columbia. Yeah, it was rad.
I would. Is that a child or an animal?
What? Oh,
I don't know.
that's the door. My apartment.
That's what your door sounds like.
It's a noisy
All
one.
So I guess back to my question. So we'll go Revolution Part 2. I really love it, even though you can't really say it's I mean it's a track that it speaks volumes about the injustices that are going on in the world, about how greed has basically destroyed this world, and that kind of the whole, we're all basically slaves to the rat race. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, Monday through Friday, I'm like, and even right now, I don't have to, the only thing I have to do is get out of bed and crawl to my desk. Like I still don't like doing it. It's not because I don't want to make money, but it's because I don't feel like when I'm at my regular job, I'm contributing to, I know that I am, what I do does contribute to society, but at the same point in time that I'm not doing this like I want to do all the time. I'm not talking to people, being with bands, and listening to great music on a 100% of the time basis. I really wish I could. Problem is, as you guys know, there's just no money in music.
Yeah.
And less so.
Well,
now with the streaming platforms and everything.
no. Well, there's no money to make whatsoever with the streaming platforms. I mean, at that point, it's just like merchandising shows.
Well, and that's one of the reasons, like on our web posts, people get mad because we won't post their Spotify. They're like, our Spotify does better than Bandcamp, and I'm like, I want you to go to their Bandcamp. I want you to buy the album. If you want to go from Bandcamp to Spotify, you go for it. But we're going to start there because there's a higher chance that somebody's going to go, oh, I really like this. I want to actually support this band and buy the album, or and what's nice about Bandcamp is you got links to merchandise now too, which they didn't have a while ago. So that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's nice.
But okay, so sorry, go ahead.
What do you say? A BUFO? What does it mean? Is it a word in French?
It's
a Latin word. It's the Latin word for toad.
Which would explain the giant toad on the record.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
I don't know why.
Toad.
Let's put a toad on there and call it Toad. That's what we do.
DJ comes up with like 80% of the inspiration on like album covers and stuff like that.
So we talked the giant toad on there. You guys can see it here. The album. This. Oh, did you guys hear me?
Oh, no, I was for a second.
No,
I was like,
we lost it.
Oh, hang on one second. There we go.
All right.
So, who did the artwork on the record on BUFO?
Our good buddy Ray, who's a friend of ours since the very beginning of the shows and stuff, and who's also our #1 fan.
Yeah, he's a tattoo artist.
He's
that's awesome.
Tattoo artist. Great guy.
Yeah, in Laval, it's not far from where we live. We even did some underground shows, like in his tattoo shop in his basement.
Oh, that's awesome.
Some good underground shows.
I really wish Denver had more kind of like pop-up shows like that. Everybody tends to stick to venues and that's it. And, there's no surprises anymore, which I remember when Rise Against, they played Red Rocks here in Colorado. And then I think it was after that show, I don't remember who it was, but they actually followed one of our friends back to his venue, which is the Seven Circle Collective. And they did a little tiny pop-up show there. Which that happens, it does happen, but just not enough, I think, here in Denver. I really wish it would. Occasionally we'll have some shows at some of our local comic shops and stuff like that, but not like on a regular basis, which kind of sucks because I would love to take my kids to go see that stuff because they're little dudes. They're like 4 and 5 right now, and it's like can't exactly take them to Red Rocks or whatever because I'd have to carry them while we marched up the 1 mile ride to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
there's
there's
more
not.
pop-up shows like that. They're so much fun.
But I feel like
exactly.
there's not more of them here. It's just that I feel like sometimes we make them happen in a sort of way.
We did for sure. Yeah.
Like
We should
every
make more
time.
happen.
But yeah, I love like playing not like sketchy places, but like
that sort
underground
of
shows. Not yeah. I would love to play in the basement one day. Also,
me too.
yeah, but
That'd be fun.
because of COVID, it's not gonna happen soon.
Most fans are probably like, "Oh, I'd love to play stadium one day." We're like, "I want to play in a basement, dude."
Yeah. No, but I mean, I also love doing venues, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Festivals.
hopefully, you guys can come down here after all this is over and put on a show for us. So
Oh,
that would
yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, it would be sick, man.
Love to come to Colorado.
So,
I'd love to do a show in your house, dude.
oh hell yeah! But maybe not my house. My
Yeah.
tiny ass
Playing in your
apartment.
basement, Phil.
Fuck yeah!
And you bring your punk buddies.
Well, and let's actually start with that. So, I know with people my age, we're called dad punks because I'm 40, soon to be 43 here in about, 5 days, 6 days.
Oh, happy birthday in advance.
Oh, thank you. So we're commonly referred to as dad punks, and yes, I have a cabbie hat. When I go to shows, so people don't see my bald.
That's great, man.
So, but one thing that I feel about that's really cool about you guys is that you kind of you have so many different types of music coming from BUFO, especially like with Suicide Mission and Survive, which is one of my favorite tracks. Survive is like hardcore. I mean, I could see a bunch of kids just slamming into each other. And we're talking 15, 16-year-old kids. Meanwhile, you got all the dad punks in the back going, I'm going to get hurt if I jump in there.
Yeah.
You know what? Some people call it ska-core. I heard it's ska-core.
Ska-core, yeah.
It would fit for Survive. For Survive.
I could totally see that. We have a band
Survive's
down
a fun one to play live for sure.
Well, that's pretty much why we always start with this song, and sometimes it goes crazy, like from that song. It's a great starter.
It's a good intro track.
Yeah.
It's like a kick in the face, man. Like.
Oh, big time.
It's like, hey, we're here.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I know when I first checked you guys out,
when
I first checked you guys out, I downloaded it from Bandcamp, but I put it in when I transferred it over to my phone, it didn't play anything in order.
Okay.
And so like I think Alerta was first. And so I was like,
that's what it was me too.
But like at first I thought maybe you guys were just like instrumental only. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then like right after that was Survive. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are amazing. So yeah. So I Suicide Mission I love. We also talked about fuck God and fuck reality. I don't know about you guys, especially Krista, but when I'm in my car, I roll down the windows and like when I'm driving around, I'm like singing with the chorus and I'm like, fuck God and fuck reality. And I'm just happy, right? And I know that like little old church ladies are like, that's the devil. So that actual track, that has some really deep meaning. And EJ, I think you had talked about it earlier. I mean, fuck God and reality, like for me, as growing up, I was kind of taught you have to go to church, you have to do this, you have to follow the societal norm. And I remember when I was a kid, because I was a punk kid, and I got into like a little goth period for a while, and my dad thought I was gay, which he wasn't really like, he wasn't mad at me about it. And he's like, we can talk, it's okay. And I was like, about what? He's like, well, you're gay, right? And I was like, I'm not, just because I'm wearing a damn shirt from Phantasmagoria that doesn't mean I'm gay, Dad. You know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if I was, I think you would have been okay with it. Like, but I think you were just like trying to understand what phase I was going through at that time in my life, I guess.
Yeah.
Like in
but-
their time, it was new to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As the new like music generation is coming, it's going to be like new to us.
Well, and I know my daughter, she's really into EDM. And
Yeah.
that's okay. The problem with me is I hear the same beat over and over and over for like 17 minutes.
Right.
And like I'm watching her like break her neck. And that's headbanging to them. You know, headbanging means something different to people from my generation.
No, I know.
But EJ, can you tell me a little bit more about Fuck God and Fuck Reality? And for me, that song really hits home. What do you think what do you love about that track, and what really inspired you guys?
Well, the track itself is, I mean, globally about the hypocrisy in religion in general. Because I mean, religion is made to be something to unite people, to promote peace and everything. But if you take a look at the whole world in history, it's done the very opposite on like such large scale. So many people have killed each other over religion. So many people hate other groups of people. Like you have these radical Christians or Catholics, and I mean, I've seen it in the U.S. I'm sure there's people in Canada too, and everywhere else, like that hate like gay people because they're like, oh, it's not the way of God. You're gonna burn in hell. That's why I wrote those lyrics to that song. That's what it's about. It's about the hypocrisy in it all, and it's about saying "fuck you" to like radical religious people who just use religion as an excuse to be hateful.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's actually a really deep track, and I personally I listen to it, and even though it's to me it gives me joy to hear it. There's some deep and powerful meaning to it. So
yeah, it gives me joy to scream it on stage. Fuck God, fuck reality. It's great every time. It's therapeutic, man. But
let's see.
I gotta mention, and there's the reality aspect of it, because fuck God and religion and everything, but there's also sort of a I'm thinking nihilist, but nihilist is so not the word. The realization, if you turn away from religion and look more at science, we still don't know like where the fuck we're going. We don't know what happens after you're dead or anything.
True.
And you end up, it's sort of saying in both cases, whether you look at religion or science and your own reality, I end up miserable.
Either way, let's make the best of this world while we're here.
Anyways, that's another level of the song. It's so fun.
Science is the new religion, you know.
And so we had one of my favorite songs, and I think Krista had brought this up earlier, was "Fuck No."
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs as well. Krista, tell me what you like about that track in particular.
I just like streaming it pretty much. Music is therapy. I've been to a lot of therapists in my life, and the best ones are musicians.
Right.
But I think that what struck me about the album as a whole was just like how many different sounds there were. I mean, there's with the Mutation, what's it called? Richmond Hill, the Mutation.
Oh, Richmond Hill, yeah.
That blew my mind. And then you'd go from there to I'm So Sorry, and then like a song like Fuck No. There's just this huge ocean of talent and sounds that you guys are accessing, and I think it's amazing to have one band, one group, 4 guys putting out such a huge array of music and genres. You guys are crossing everything, like we were talking about with, you're calling it skacore, but it's not just skacore. You've got like this kind of, you've got some melodic stuff in there, you've got some really thrashy stuff, you've got stuff that harkens back to almost surf punk back in like the early 70s, mid 70s. It's all over the place. And so for someone who's listening to an album, it keeps your attention, because you don't know what the next song is going to sound like. I really appreciate it.
Right.
No, thank you.
Like, we didn't want to make any boundaries. Like, when we write stuff, we don't want to do, let's just say,
A specific style. Like
Specific style, yeah.
Yeah, one genre.
we just walk in there and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna write some music, and that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Well, we write music for us, like in the beginning. Like, do we like this? If yeah, well, we'll just make an album for it, or like combining all different styles.
Exactly.
But of course,
it works. It's fantastic.
yeah, it works. But like, it's not that different. Like going from album to album. If you like listen to the first one, it was more like raw punk, melodic raw punk. And then BUFO is kind of a mix of like ska, grunge, and some punk rock or skate punk.
Yeah.
So that to us, we thought it was a bit more appealing for people who listen to the album, because like you said, you never know what to expect when you're switching to a next song. So
Yeah.
Well, and you know, for me, that was when I think Bad Religion released was it not the Process of Belief, but what's their new one?
Oh God, I don't know.
The one with the statue head on it.
I
Yeah.
only listen to old Bad Religion.
Well, I yeah, same here for the most part. But I think that I was listening to a single from that. They dropped a single for that new album, and I was like, oh, it sounds very similar to the last 42 Bad Religion songs I've heard. and not to knock down Bad Religion. I mean, I absolutely love them. And Greg is an absolute genius. But
well, it's just like the Ramones.
Yeah.
The Ramones, they have like 3 chords. Their whole discography. Yeah. Career. There we go. You got it.
Yeah,
it's all the same song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked. I don't know if you guys have listened to Acid Eaters, which is kind of like it's like a cover album of like 60s and 70s songs. I mean, even though you still have 3 chords only, it's really good because they cover some like kind of like B tracks and stuff like that you only heard in like horror movies and stuff like that from the 60s. So I really enjoyed it. So, but then again, you could still only hear that 3 chord kind of thing. But then I think they got one. They had like an organ in it, like from like the 60s psychedelic track, and I was like, "Is this the Ramones?" Like, I had to check my phone.
I haven't heard that one.
It's actually pretty neat. It's kind of obscure.
Yeah. No, I was more like into.
What's up?
Sorry?
It's on that record that you were talking about. What's it called?
Yeah, let me see. I think it's Acid Eaters. Yeah, they've got Acid Eaters by the Ramones, Somebody to Love, The Shape of Things, Journey to the Center of the Earth, When I Was Young, yeah. And then Surf City by the Beach Boys by the Ramones.
Oh my God.
By the Ramones.
Okay, I got it. As soon as we're done this interview, I gotta give that one a listen.
But let's see. I think Krista, you wanted to say that you really liked I'm so sorry. Can you tell me?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
Why?
Yeah.
Because we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I listened to it again, and I'm like, I feel like these guys are just like stalking me and writing songs about my life. This was hauntingly familiar. But that's what all the good songs do. They make you connect with something that you're going through, whether it's good or bad, or just memory. And that's why we're all here doing this on the side, right? Because of
sure.
lifestyle.
That's right. So I think we'll go ahead and let you guys go. I do appreciate all of your time today and apologize for the technological issues we had this morning. But you guys can go ahead and pick up Jerkswitch's new album, which I highly recommend. Over at obviously on the streamers, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff, Apple. But you can actually purchase it over at jerkswitch.bandcamp.com. That's jerkswitch.bandcamp.com/releases. If you don't believe me, just listen to it and you'll learn to love it anyway. And after this, we're actually going to show your new video about a punk which is one of my favorite tracks off of there. Can you tell me a little bit about a punk? And I mean, it's weird because it almost feels like I wrote it, but I didn't write it, you know?
Well, it's a simple one. I mean, it's pretty straight up about a punk. It's pretty much about, you see all these punk rock artists and songs and lyrics that are trying to talk about the things that are going wrong in the world and trying to help people open their eyes, but nobody's ever freaking listening to you because like, you fucking punks. And it's just about feeling ignored if somebody was trying to help people open their eyes, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember back when I was 16 or so, my buddies had put out like a demo, and they were terrible, absolutely terrible. And we all knew that, but you know what? It was fun. So we went down to Wax Tracks, which is kind of like our local records, and we put it. We got 3 tapes that we put in store. We sold one, and I did promotion for it. We put up some posters and stuff like that. But I'll never forget. Like I talked to back in the day, there's still a radio station here called KTCL, but now they're owned by the iHeart Mega Corporation. Okay. They used to do like Friday night locals. And I remember one of the guys, I was like, hey, check out my band's demo tape. And that was before a guy named Alf took over. That was a different guy. But I was like, they were like, who are you? And I was like, I'm just some punk, like. All right, guys. So I just want to say thanks again. Thank you very much for being on with Cpra Presents. And
thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop.